here to celebrate Season 1 True North Speaker Series. I don't know if some of you guys have been watching, but Kirsten and I, that's Kirsten, raise your hand wherever you are. Kirsten and I had this vision that we wanted to bring light to North Main, but in a way that had never been done before. So we said, what can we do to shine a light on the diversity, equity, inclusion, shine a light on economic development, shine a light on the neighborhoods in which we live, where we work, where we play, where we pray? How can we do all of those things in a way with a major impact? So one of the things that came to us was, how do we celebrate the Black women in this community that's doing the work that they're doing? One thing that we talk about, they're digging tunnels and they setting the tone for future generations, but they don't need a platform. They don't need a podium. They don't need a mic. They don't need any attention. All they're looking for is hard-driven outcomes, that when they lay their head down to rest, that they know they're making a difference and a change in people's lives. So we said, well, we'll celebrate them. We'll honor them. We'll tell them thank you. This is my time to introduce the ladies. We're just gonna do a recap of each one of their interviews, and we're just gonna dig a little deeper. So first up, I have Latasha Austin. She the one already crying. I was like, Lord, let us get to the first question. Okay, next we got Lakeisha Reed Curtis. Then we got Patrina Carter. Or you don't need that if you got it. Yeah. Next up, we got Carice Luck Bremer, Reese. Then we got Keisha Avery. Shakiva, you ready? Then we got Shakiva Frazier. Yes, vote for me. Oh, I'm not even supposed to say that. Then we got Felice McWilliams. Then we got Crystal Cobbs. Crystal Avery Cobbs. Crystal Avery. Then we got Chief Irvin. Yeah. I'm gonna be sad. I'm like, y'all just take in this moment. Yeah. Because I have never, ever seen her out of her coach. So she started coaching me. I don't want to tell my age, but she coached me in college in 1996. So either I saw her in her coach's uniform or either in her firefighter uniform. So I am taking in this moment. Yes! Then we got Katira Mayo. Look at that. Okay. And we saved the best for last. Miss Evelina Rose. Where's Miss Rose at? Oh, there she goes. That's it. Go ahead. Use the rail. See? Thank you, Jesus. Okay. Yeah. So we are going to do Q&A. Oh, Lord. At the end for you guys. So hold your questions. Just hold your questions to the end, and we're going to go through some interview questions that we want to do. Some people have sent us some follow-up, like, oh, ask her this or ask her that. So we composed a list of questions that we do want to get through because it has been pressing in the community. But then we also want to give you guys who took the time out, and again, I want to say thank you for showing up and showing out, who took the time to show up, an opportunity to ask a couple of questions. Y'all ready?
Yes.
Are y'all ready? Yeah, y'all ready? Lord, y'all, I ain't used to wearing no skirts, so y'all just do this number every now and then and remind me of what I got on. I already know it was a bad idea. Lord, I'll just keep it up. So, ladies, in no particular order, can you guys share a little bit of recap about your personal background? We'll leave it to 2 minutes or whatever. How you shaped the identity as a Black woman.
Hello. First of all, thank you so much for doing this. This is really a beautiful affair. Okay, I was born in Pennsylvania County in a little place called Whitmill, Virginia. Most of you don't even know it's not on most maps. But I was born to parents who believed in God first, taught us that whatever we do, put God first. They themselves did not have an opportunity to go to high school. But I did not know that neither of my parents could not read or write until I was in middle school, because you would never know it. But they steered us to go on to college and to make a difference in folk lives. And they said, whatever you do, you make sure that you impact somebody else's life in a better way. So with that being said, I did not want to raise tobacco. So I moved to Washington, D.C. I attended Howard. You know, I have to go to Howard. Our vice president, that's her. So I went to Howard, graduated there, and started working for the Civil Service Commission, but I won't go through all of it. Then I ended up in the Navy Department in Crystal City. What shaped me was one day that I was director of programs, and I was called to go before all the captains and all the officials of the military to present so they could get staffing. And when I walked in, the first thing that, I forgot his title, but he said, we wanted someone to tell us how to get the best person. But my mom and dad always told me that nobody's better than you or you know better than anybody else. So I slightly stood up and said, you're looking at her right now.
Yeah.
So with that, I said, that's what started my career. And I always said, whatever you do, make sure that you are bold, that you first respect God, respect yourself, and make sure you do the right thing. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah. All right. Go here.
I'm just gonna say how I started in this work. Is I was noticing things were going on, money's being provided for homes to be repaired, healthcare services, just all kinds of things going on. Businesses being built, houses being built. But by the time myself and people in my community find out these things, the money's dried up. So why are we always last finding out what's going on? So me being me, I had to go find out what is going on. So I started just joining in different community events, forums, just being inquisitive, and some people say nosy. and but not only for myself, but for others. I was gathering information in order to disseminate it to others, so they can benefit from the services that's being provided from the city, from the region, from the state. So we can have a seat at the table when decisions are being made about what's going on in our communities. Things that's gonna affect our day-to-day lives. I wanted us to be represented. And at first I didn't really want it to be me per se. I wanted, just be there. I didn't consider myself a leader, just say that. But God showed me otherwise, because he put things in place to not only highlight my skills, but to actually nurture them, exemplify them. And it's like a natural thing. So I took my natural leadership skills, sharpened them, and my upbringing. Yes, I'm from the streets. Yes, I lived in Cedar Place. Yes, I am hood and will be hood till the day I die. But that did not define me, but it made me stronger. And those skills got me through a lot of things in them boardrooms, and be able to speak in a certain way and pick up on things that the average person wouldn't be able to pick up. Because being from the street, you got to be able to pick up and read those signs and feel those shifts from the atmospheres to keep you safe and, just put all those skills together. And now I just lead go quite a few things that I won't plan on leading, but I find that I enjoy it. It's part of me. It's my passion. It's my calling.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. All right, it's hard to beat this. But, with this journey, I was born into it. January 27th, 1961. When my mama birthed me, she birthed me into a teen. I'm the number 7 child. First 5 boys, my sister and myself. So going into the fire department, I went in with all boys, pretty much, all men. And during my interview, the chief would ask, well, let me back up a little bit, just a bit here. And as we know, we're all in the city of Danville, last capital of the Confederacy, and all the things we have. No women in the fire department. The police had some, but none ever in the fire department, and most certainly not an African-American woman. So as I said, when the chiefs start interviewing me, first thing they were asked, being around all these men, you're going to hear some things and see some things. And I said, just right there, and stop it right there. So I got 5 older brothers. There's nothing they can say to me, show me that I haven't smelled, I haven't heard, any of that stuff. I'm going to be fine. Watch them. Just watch after them. I'm going to be fine. And they put me in a station on Industrial Avenue, and I think I had the best captain I could have ever had and the best chief. They made sure that I was going to be treated like anyone else, even better. Nothing special, but they wanted me to succeed in that. And with the grace of God and blessings and prayers from my parents who are gone on now, that I made it through. And there's more to come.
All right.
Wow.
Can y'all hear me? Okay. All right, I'm Crystal Avery Cobbs, and I say Avery because I'm proud of who I am. I grew up in Camp Grove, and I'm proud of the Avery name, so I will always and forever be Avery. Okay. So, again, growing up in Camp Grove and the Camp Grove community really helped shape who I am as a woman, as a Black woman. I asked my mom and dad not too long ago, was I quiet? I thought I was quiet when I was younger. They was like, no, you've always been bossy. I was like, wow, for real? So it's just, leadership is who I am. I can never tell my leadership story in Danville without talking about Middle Border Forward, which was a great organization. One of the things I learned during the Middle Border Forward journey was my strength. One of my strengths is I'm a problem solver. So where people run from problems, I run to problems. And I always thought like, everybody did that, but I found out that's not true. And so I began to embrace who I was by solving those problems. That's how I ended up starting an organization called Parents of the Schools. I ended up on the school board, ended up starting Black Chamber of Commerce because I saw problems that needed to be solved. And so what shapes also the Black experience, I remember when I was a little girl, I was scared of the KKK because they were coming to Danville, downtown. So I hate those flags. It left a mark on me as a Black woman. And so I'd be like, if I had a fire gun, I would burn them flags down, just being for real. And one day my son, he was ready to pledge allegiance to that Confederate flag. And I was like, don't you ever pledge allegiance to that Confederate flag. And so as a Black woman, those things have shaped me. They shape how I show up in rooms. People have this thing where they say we are an angry Black woman, but that's to keep us silent. And so speak your truth no matter where you are. That's what I've learned to do, speak my truth. My mom, I attribute a lot of what I do and who I am to my mom because I grew up watching her go to nursing homes, helping people. That's who I am because of my mom. So thank you, Mom.
I think that's all.
Okay, we got you.
Okay, Crystal. I'm Felice McWilliams, and I can't claim being born here in Danville as I was born in California, in Los Angeles, California. And I grew up in South Central Los Angeles, which is probably very similar to the neighborhoods my sisters have explained. But I think what defines who I am right now, being a child of William and Ali Askew, my parents were great examples of leaders and how to serve people, and my grandparents as well, and I think that's just a part of me innately, to being a person who serves others. My journey here in Danville, I also have to give props to Middle Border Forward, because I was also a fellow, did the fellowship class of 2018, and it changed my life here in Danville. Before Middle Border Forward, I was already the rock lady, doing rocks all over town just to get people to smile. And that led me to start my own organization, Making Danville Smile. And doing Making Danville Smile, Middle Border Forward fellows noticed me and asked me to join that fellowship. I tried out and I made it. And that led me to other fellowships. I did Leadership Southside, and just being a part of that group, those groups, and having that network circle has been so beneficial to open up so many doors for me. Like I said, leading my own organization, doing the Art of Felice, on the board with the Danville Art League, ambassador with Plan Danville, and I can go on, but it's just because I love Danville, and it is my home.
We miss it.
Oh, can you repeat the question? I got lost in the sauce, so can you give me the question so I answer directly?
Oh, can you share, I done went on to like something, can you share a bit about your personal background and how it has shaped in the identity of who you are now as a Black woman?
Okay, so I thought I heard that part right. So I am Shakiva Q. Frazier. Personal background, I'm born in Danville, Virginia. My father, James Wilson, my mother, Linda Frazier, Missy. Personal background, quite shaky. Y'all have to tune in to the North Star series if y'all want to hear about that right now, because it's too long to go in. But a challenging upbringing, made it, have children. They went to school through here as well as myself. As far as it shaping me into a Black woman, I just happened to be a woman that was born Black. Okay. And so, so really I am who I am. And so I'm learning that what has shaped me into embracing being a Black woman is being around other women who let me know that it's okay with my voice, with my talk, with my hairstyle, with who I am. Because this is a community where you do see flags flying, you do know things that happened in the past, you see the markers for Bloody Monday. We still are having trauma for some of the things that's been passed on from our grandparents, from things they experienced that taught us to kind of be in our shell of being Black, not to speak up. Put your head down when you walk past certain places and certain people. But embracing who I am in this community comes from my past, comes from where I'm at now, and just these people, the village, this community, just pushing me to embrace my Black and my swag that comes with it. Okay?
Yeah.
All right.
And Black is Black. What is it?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I am Keisha Averett, and I would say what has really shaped me is being a mother. I was started out raising 4 kids actually in this actual community. My kids were attending Woodrow Wilson Magnet School at the time. And it was there that I started my journey of working in education, advocating for students and parents, because the same thing that I was doing for my own kids, I began to do it and share those resources with other parents. I would say what shaped me is church. I had very strong support in my church, in my family, teachers, different people around me. So a lot of times you don't see things in yourself and other people see it in you, and they give you the strength and the courage, and they push you to keep moving forward. So I'd have to attribute a lot of my own success to people around me, those in my support group, those in my circle, to ladies just like everyone on this panel who have made it comfortable to move in spaces that I probably wouldn't have been as comfortable in prior. And so I would say all of those experiences has shaped me as a woman, as a Black woman.
How y'all doing? I'm Therese Ledbrimmer. Everybody calls me Reese. I've been on this journey I call it a journey of discovery. I've been on this journey of discovery since I was a young teen. Started out collecting oral histories in my neighborhood before I even knew what an oral history, what I knew what genealogy was. And all of this came from the elders in my community who influenced me, namely my grandfather, Reverend Bedford Luck. I come out of Camp Grove community, Camp Grove Baptist Church, and it was the elders in my community that helped shape and mold me and my ideals and all of those things. And, you know, coming from Camp Grove, I think I grew up with some of everything. And so I was inspired. I always say I was inspired by the women hustling, playing cards, just to feed. These are single mothers who were doing what they needed to do to feed their kids. I also went to church with Miss Joni Fullerwinder, who was one of the first African-American teachers within Danville Public Schools. I also went to church with Dr. Joyce Glaze, who was one of the first people to sit on city council. And so I grew up around all of these people, and these are the people that influenced me to do what I do. I'll never forget, it was 1996. I was in the 11th grade, and I was sitting in church one Sunday, and Dr. Joyce Glaze got up to speak, and she was terrified because the KKK had rode over her yard for a matter of 6 days. All because she was a Black woman, and people don't give Dr. Joyce Glaze enough credit, but she was one of the first people in this city, one of the first, male or woman, to make noise about the Confederate flag and actually do something about it. And as a result of that, the KKK ran over her yard. They even tried to burn a cross in the backyard. I don't know if someone frightened them or if someone scared them, so they didn't get a chance to do it, but she kept that stump where they had started in her backyard as a reminder of those things. So these are the type of people that have influenced me. They all come from Danville. They all helped shape and mold me into becoming the historian I am and the genealogist I am. And I could just go, I get so full speaking of these people because, it didn't, one thing, I have to go back to a panel I was on last week. And one thing Councilman Saunders said, and it's something that I don't take lightly, that I don't care what you're doing, what you think you done, you the first, you this, everybody's standing on somebody else's shoulders because there were other people that came before us and, that contribute to why we're here and who we are today.
Hello, everyone. Happy Juneteenth, Freedom Day. I am Patrina Carter, and thank you, LaShawn and Kirsten, for this awesome experience. It has been a wonderful experience. For those of you who do not know, I was not born in Danville. I was born in New York City, Harlem, that is. That's a whole city of its own. But I am from Harlem, USA. So there is no hood like Harlem hood, okay? But I will say that what shaped me into the woman I am today is my grandmother. My mom died when I was 4 years old, and she died having her third child. She died in labor. And so one of the programs we do at my agency now is infant and maternal health. And I'm passionate about that because I know that there are mothers who are dying today who do not have to die. And so my grandmother stepped in, and I remember when they told me my mom died, and I was saying, well, who's going to be my mom now? And she said, I will do the best that I can, me and the Lord. And she stuck to it. And the thing that she constantly said to us was, education is something that once you get, no one can take from you. And that stuck with me all the way through high school. It was in the back of my mind when I went to college for the first time, because, partying stepped up, and I was like, oh, I don't have to make it in by the time the street light goes off. So I did a little bit of that. And then I left school, never flunked out, left school after 3 years, and got married and had children. And so I started to say that to my children. I said, education is something that once you get it, no one can take it from you. And I would pound in their heads. I was like, we are PO, P-O-PO. We need scholarships. And we moved the children here to Danville, Virginia, the place that when I was a little girl, I stood on my uncle's porch because we would get shipped here every summer. And I stood on that porch on Piney Forest Road and said, I can't wait till I get grown because I'm never coming back to Danville again. So tell God what you're going to do. And so we moved the children down to Danville, Virginia. My oldest daughter was 9. She is now 39 years old. But I continued to tell them education is the key. And my daughter looked at me when she was 12 and said, well, do you have a college degree? You keep telling us to get one. So on to UNCG I went to get that degree before they finished. And I did get my bachelor's and went on to get my master's. But because I continued to tell them about education, I have daughters who have graduated from Harvard University, Spelman College, VCU, Berkeley, and I have one that attended Firm University, but she said she was doing social work and she didn't like people that much, but that's another story.
Hi, everybody. Hey, I'm Keisha. I'm from Danville, Virginia. And so when you think about leadership, it's just something that you strive for, I guess, for every no that you receive, for every room that you walk in. And I'm sorry because I'm a crybaby, but it's not something that you are, to me, that I was born with, right? That I just think that I walked into rooms not knowing and not being afraid and just taking every piece of criticism to make me better, right? Some people take criticism as a bad thing, but for me, it just helped me because each room I went in, I was so much stronger. You know what I'm saying? I was always like the one who didn't know, asking the questions to get to where I am, because every move that I make helps so many others. It's not about me. I could care less. I'm a nurse by trade, so I can get a job tomorrow, honestly. The headaches that we deal with as entrepreneurs or as leaders, sometimes it's not, you don't even have to deal with it. Some stuff is just like, God whispers in your ear. I listen to what he says, and he makes everything come into fruition. Every single thing is not anything that he tells me to do that I don't do. And he just makes it easy, right? Like it's hard, but then when you look back, it's just easy. It's a walk in the park. And then I look at the families that we all touch. It's not just me. We all touch families, changing generations, right? Breaking the chains, as they say. My family circle will never be the same. I broke that chain. I know that for a fact. The chains are broke. As long as my kids keep it up, right? Right? And so I just think being a servant leader, that's what I consider myself, a servant leader. I'm from Camp Grove too, right? So we saw lots of entrepreneurs, pops, and I want to attribute my mother to saying, coming home from school, you came home and you don't know the answer, you better ask them teachers those questions, So I had to come home and know the answers, right? I couldn't come home and say, Mom, I don't know how, because you were just in a room where everybody knew how to do it. So I still ask a lot of questions. I still, my mom allowed me to dream. I don't know if she remembers, she used to take me to the jewelry stores, and the ladies would just let me look at this expensive jewelry. And I was 8 or 9. They didn't treat me as if, well, you know, y'all not gonna buy that for an 8-year-old, but my mom allowed me to dream. And so I think being a dreamer allows you to become a leader, right? Because when you dream, you're helping so many other people. So, yeah, I hope I answered your question. Okay.
So hello, I'm LA, Latasha Austin, and y'all can hear? We can hear you. So bad. And I think what led me to be the woman that I am, mostly is my journey. So a lot of things that I've done, it just led me, whether it was the right or wrong decision, it led me into the right place. Into the right place, in the right space, and I met different people who helped cultivate the woman that I am today. Which I'm a server, and I was always a server by nature, but as I went along my journey, like career-wise, I started off in manufacturing, and I just hated it, and I knew it was something different for me to do in life. So the people that was, even though I felt like I was in the wrong place, it was people connected to me in those places that helped me to better understand myself and helped me to get on a journey to where I am now. And the roles that I play now, I help serve others, and I help teach other people from my journey and the thing that I chose to do in life. Okay, guys, next question. How do you see your role as a leader impacting other Black women in your industry, in your community, or in your neighborhood? You can pick whichever bracket you want to. Anybody can answer.
Well, I'll start on this one. I've been working hard at that, trying to get Black women and Black men into the profession of the fire department. And I can't find the answer to what it's going to take. And I contribute that they're watching a lot of television, Station 19, and all of those shows on television where you see people, the actors jumping out of windows with no gear on and things like that. And I think it kind of, shy them away from it, thinking that that's the things that we do. And that's Hollywood. That's Hollywood. And my administration, our local government officials, they're working hard to us to get more African Americans on the fire department. And that's my goal, and I talk to the young females a lot, and it's out there, and the opportunity is there, male and female. If you get past those tests, you're pretty much gonna have a job. And when I start talking about, the work, and they realize they only work 10 days a month, the eyes kind of, brighten up. But those 10 days, one day is 24 hours. So that's equivalent to other people, just 8 hours a day. But it's out there. I travel around a lot to different places, to conference. I just got back from Arizona about 3 weeks ago, and there are a lot of minorities in the fire service. So I'm hoping, praying that someday it will pick up here in the city of Danville. So if you know anybody, tell them come see me.
My career started basically in Washington, D.C. And there I was always put into a position that I was the only female, Black or white, in that position. So as I looked around in board meetings and wherever else I went, I didn't see anybody that looked like me. And I think the first thing that really got my attention was the Equal Employment Opportunity organization at the General Accounting Office, where I was headed by a white man. And I'm thinking, wow, you all got all the privileges now. Something is wrong with this picture. So that's when I started mentoring people to see, there's something, I know I'm as smart as most folk. I'm not smarter, but I can learn. So that was my goal, was to learn all I could, which is my number one thing. We need to, as she said, follow her example, mentor her, learn what she's doing. Associate yourself with not just Black women or Black men, but the people in the position, because you get it. And once you get it, it's just like education. Nobody can take it from you. So as I started learning and going to board meetings as the only black woman in the organization, I ran into a lot of problems. I got not sexually, I guess I would have been sexually harassed, except when the guy came on me. I'm a farm girl, so I know how to handle a mule and a cow, and I guess he would never touch anybody else. So then I had to file a complaint against him. And that's when I said, I can do this job. And I put myself in that position to head up that EEO. And I headed that up. And from that, I got promoted and got promoted and got promoted. When I came back to Danville, my first encounter in Danville, I'm going to be brief, was that I went for an interview in the city council. Larry Campbell, he's still here. And it was all white men for a position. And one of the first things that they said to me, "You're too qualified." And that just hurt my feelings so badly, because you cannot be too qualified for any position. So I didn't get that position, but as you said, God knows what to do. He orchestrated my position, orchestrated my life, that I could work at Pennsylvania County Community Action. And when I walked in here tonight, that felt good. I heard so many people say, "Miss Ross, thank you for shaping me," because the whole thing is you mentor after someone else who has achieved. There's so many people in here that I watched as I was growing up since I moved back to Denver, because we're still learning. Right now, I'm a professional caregiver, but I still learn. So that's how we have to motivate ourselves. We have to mentor other folk that have achieved. Don't be scared. As they say, don't be scared. Take those courses, take those challenges, and attend, I think you said it, attend board meetings, learn all you can do, not just go to a meeting when the issue affects you, but get in their faces. Make sure they know you and has an impact. And you will be surprised at how you will grow. And folk will recognize you and say, we need to put somebody on this board because she's after. But you have to make that move. We can shape the future, black women. We can shape it if we just stick together, go after the big things.
So I tap in. So for myself, I remember being a young girl, I was a young mother, and I had children going to CIC. And I would go to drop my children off at school, and Miss Nadine Coleman, I used to call her a hound dog, she'd be on me. But they would let me come into the meetings and play a role as secretary. Now, mind you, I'm young, so I got my Days of Dukes on, probably been out 3-4 days before that. But they still allow me, we would meet at Ryan's and different places. It was her, forget the director, Joan Robbins, Lord have mercy. They would be so good to me. And it was always a person in every room I went in. It was Wendy Goods Everson. And whatever room I went in, she would be in there. And as my life began to transform, she would still continue to, pass the mantle. Sometimes I think people get stuck with it and they don't want to see the next generation come up. But Wendy will always leave a door open for me in those rooms. So now what I do is when I talk to young people or I talk to other black women, I always let them know that they can do it. Because sometimes people see us where we're at now, but they don't see the process that we went through, the no's we went through, the shame, the guilt, whatever we deal with. And so most times my inspiration is just telling them, you can do it. Don't let what you've been through stop you. Don't let what you heard about you stop you, especially in a small city where we all know each other and we know some of each other's business and our families and all this stuff. The most inspiring thing I can tell to any young person is that you can do it being you. Not the next person. You learn from them, but do it being you. And leave the door open so they can come in and do it.
Next question, how do you stay motivated and resilient in the face of adversity? I'm gonna let Keisha answer that question.
It's fun. It's fun.
Because I love her story, but that's why I want her to answer. How do you stay motivated and resilient in the face of adversity?
Oh, well, because it's not about me. So if I stop, then that means that my girls over there can't get their nursing degree, and they can't, change their family dynamics because I'm tired or because it's a lot of sleepless nights, and this is why am I going through this stuff, right? Why am I? And it's good stuff, but it's just a lot of stuff. Not everything that you go through is bad. I'm going through good stuff, but it's still a headache. So I don't want you to be like, oh my God. No, it's a lot of good stuff, but it's just, a headache. It's not but it's just a lot, right? Dealing with politics, and like now I'm dealing with like the U.S. government and Department of Education, and like, I just never imagined that for myself, right? And so that comes with not knowing, because I don't have anybody to lean on. It's really just research, getting it wrong, fixing it, getting it wrong, fixing it. So now I could get stuff wrong and it doesn't bother me as much as it did, because then I would be like rolling my neck, like, you don't want me to have it. But now it's like, no, it's just not right. Fix it. It's just what it is. It's not anything against you. This is the law. You have to follow it. We don't care that you're a Black woman. They're not looking at it at that. It's just not right. And so I look at my community. Medical Solutions is helping the community. I look at my family. I look at the freedoms that I do have, being an entrepreneur. So I think what keeps me going are my students, is my family, knowing that it's not about me, and just praying to God and letting him show me the way, and I'm just doing the work. That's it.
LaShawn, I feel like I'm just taking over, but I'm not. What I'm getting ready to say, I've never said it publicly. And in 2020, I was struck with cancer in 2020. And I went out of work. It was right in the beginning of the pandemic and all that stuff. So I was out of work for 6 months. When I came back to work, I felt like I didn't belong. I was a stranger. It was almost the worst thing in my life. I was more upset than when the doctor told me I had cancer, than the way I was being treated at work. And I fought through it. I fought through it, and I fought through it. I did it my way. I did it my way because the guys that were under me, because I was the chief with the fire marshal's office, they would say what they want to, do what they want to. Nothing was done about it. I went through a lot, but I'm not a quitter. I am not a quitter. I'm thinking, right now I'm on 37 and a half years, and had been there longer than anybody in administration on my hall. And y'all not gonna stop me. They didn't order me any uniforms. It was just like, it was bad every day. And I haven't been saved all my life. I haven't been saved. I see the T-shirts out there, 49% hood, 51% Christian. That 49 can be powerful at times. And I said what I want to say. I would cuss them out. I would do everything I had to do. It didn't get better. It didn't get better. It didn't make me better. I turned it over to the Lord. It's what I had to do. I turned it over to the Lord. He blessed me and moved me out of that position and put me in another position where it's what I've always wanted to do. And for me, is to serve God's people. However I can, whatever I can. I work long hours. That's why you see me in my uniform all the time. But, and I wore something different today because that uniform really doesn't define me. I am who I am. Amen. I know who I am. And I had to work with that, and I had to believe in the Lord and let the Lord fight my battles, not me. Because, when I fight my battles, I probably was going to hurt somebody physically. Still you got that other side in you. He ain't finished with me yet. But, I just, in that resilience, turn it over to the Lord and don't handle it on your own because you'll go the wrong way. Every time you're going to go the wrong way, let him handle it. They would say something to me, and I would, instead of cussing them out, Jesus loves me. And I would say it, and I would get in their face and say it. I would get in their face and say it, you know, and then they laughed or something, whatever, but they got it. You know, they got what I mean by that. And that's how I handle a lot of things, because, you know, now they're better people to me. They're great. I love going to work. I lose time because I don't take off, because I love going to work. If somebody out there need me, and these ladies on this stage have services that can help me to help somebody else. And that's what I'm here to do, just to help somebody else, stay strong, and turn it over to God every single time, and he will prevail. He will never leave you. Now, my bosses don't know all this and how much, you know, how bad they were treating me. It was worse than they telling me having cancer. You know, it was just bad. I would just go in and I would be in my office, and they don't know this, and I just never bring it up to them. But yeah, I don't have anywhere to put them, and I will pray for them and that things will be better.
I wanted to say something right fast. You all hear me?
What you say? I said thank you for your transparency.
But I just wanted to let everybody know, when your passions align with your purpose, the doors will open. The people you need to help you move along your path, they will come. So don't look at what's going on today. Don't worry about when you're sitting in certain rooms that you don't have this certain degree, you don't have this certain certification. If you are doing what God designed you to do, none of that is going to matter. You're going to be the one, a whole lot of times, that leader in the room. A lot of the ladies you see up here today, we don't have these fancy degrees. We're just walking in purpose. That's all it is, purpose. I just want to remind everyone of that today.
Her purpose push. Go, Mr.
I want to piggyback off of what Kit said. Yeah, when you're passionate, your purpose becomes clear. And when you have purpose, your passion gets bigger. You know, at least that was for me. I do not have the privilege of being related to any of these ladies up here by blood, which I know many of them are. So for me, coming here, that was kind of an obstacle at first, because everybody I knew, you know, that's my cousin, that's my sister, that's my auntie, and I didn't have none of that. You know, so I had to find my tribe, make my family here, and I hope that all of these ladies consider me their sister at this point in my life, because I consider them that. Because even though I do have family here now, that was a big obstacle for me, not having someone that I could go and talk to have someone that can encourage me on the road that I was on. So this is what I do now. My purpose is to seek out those ones who I see they don't have anybody to push them along. I'm the one who's going to push them, give them opportunity for whatever it is I see they need, the lane they need to be in. I'm going to push them into it as best I can. And so I just like to encourage all of us to do that when we see somebody that's maybe timid or need a little push or need some encouragement. Let us all be that person to say you can do it, because that makes a difference when somebody shows a little belief in you.
You got it, Shishi. You hear it over here, though.
So that's all. You show someone that you have a little belief in them, they can soar and climb mountains. And that's what I got from all the people that I did my fellowship with, the ones that were before me that encouraged me to keep going. And it's just being persistent and diligent and faithful to what you do. And those doors, like she said, will open. It don't matter. I love education, but I will agree that it doesn't matter if you're educated in some certain field. If you're passionate about something, people see that and the doors open for you. I pounded the pavement in this city doing rocks, putting them all over the place just to make people smile. And in being faithful to doing that, it opened other doors. I started teaching art classes. And in teaching art classes, I got people all over the city calling me to come do rocks with their organization or their church or their jobs. The mayor called on me to come do it for the city. So these are the things that just stand if you stay focused in the things that you're passionate about, the doors do open. But don't forget to encourage somebody else along the way, because that makes a big difference.
Okay, Alex. So going back to motivation, what motivates me, I would say, are my children. I never, ever, ever want to ever feel like, again, that I failed them. Me speaking earlier about my journey and making certain choices, right or wrong, I feel like some of my choices ended up having me in the space where I felt like I failed them at one point. So I am super motivated to never have them feel like that again. So that's what keeps me on my course of making sure that I stay on my journey and never fail again.
That's good.
Okay, in a quick snapshot, each lady tell me what they're most proud of. We gotta balance it out. Tell me what you're proud of.
Most proud?
Most proud of.
I'm most proud that I am married to Charles McWilliams and that God gave me 3 sons, because my body was never ever supposed to have children, and I have 7 grandkids, and that's what I'm the most proud of.
What you got, lady?
So I'm with, who going?
You going?
My children. You know, my children, I have a grandson, but my children, because of my upbringing and my lifestyle back then, it could have been very, very different. But just them being able to be together, we talk, just my children, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. I'll have to say the same. My children, I have a now 12-year-old and a 13-year-old, soon to be 14, but my children really changed my life. Once I had kids, things that I used to put up with, I wouldn't put up with anymore, because I was like, I don't want my kids to deal with it. If I don't want them to deal with it, I'm not gonna deal with it. So they really did change my life. And I never wanted kids, but God knew best. And he gave me my 2 boys, and they absolutely changed my entire life. So. That's right.
I'm gonna go ahead and say kids again before somebody else say it. But for me, my children, but not just my children, but for how successful they are, I am really blessed. That's just my journey, that all my kids, I can say, are on the right course, and I am just most proud of my baby.
Same here. My kids, I have a 16-year-old and a 7-year-old. And I think my son is the most, right? Not the most, but because he's a black boy.
Yeah.
And a good kid.
Yeah.
And I'm just thankful that he's okay. He smiles sometimes, but he's okay. I'm proud of my kids.
Anybody else?
I'm proud of me. I'm just saying, if it's 10 years ago, I never would have thought I'd be sitting at this stage. I never considered myself a leader. I'm just shocked that the city considered me a leader, because that's not what I, sought out to be. And then, I sat in rooms and I felt like I don't supposed to be here. This one got a PhD. This one got a master's degree. And then it's me. But I'm here and I'm sought after.
And celebrate your kid.
I'm doing webinars on the Hill, and people calling me out to do workshops, and they need me to do stuff. Sometimes I don't want them to need me to do stuff, but it's just I'm proud of me.
I'm proud. Well, okay. I don't have any kids, So,
But Deshawn is born on her birthday. My son's born on her birthday.
that's right. I have a lot that I help and do all that kind of good stuff with. Kind of like, if you used to rent the videos and they're good, then you take them home when they're done. Yeah, I have a lot of those. But I will say that my growth in my relationship with the Lord, because anytime something is like on me, I can go into prayer and it's fixed. It's there. And that. And, we all got our religious kick thing here, but that's me. But then my longevity in the fire department, because I'm on 37 and a half years right now, and they said she wouldn't make it a week, she wouldn't make it a month. It's a song out there, and they say I wouldn't make it, all that, and that's kind of my song. And, I'm still there, and one guy's got 6 months longer than I have, so I've been there the longest. And I rose up through the ranks all the way up to division chief. So it's the first female, first. So that's the first everything, the first black, the first female, first slept in the fire department, first bumped something with the truck. So it's there, and I am like her. I'm so proud of myself, and I want to continue to just give back and serve others.
Destin. Okay, there it is. Okay, so I'm going to be redundant, and I'm going to say my children and my grandchildren. But the reason I say that I'm very proud of my children and their accomplishments is because my children made me the advocate that I am. Because I remember going to the school and saying to the counselor in middle school that in order for my child to have what they needed to graduate in the 12th grade, they needed to take algebra in the 7th grade. And she told me I was pushing my children too hard. And I said, well, when they become your children, then you can push yours the way you want. And what I want you all here to know is that you are the best and most efficient advocate for your children. Do not send your children to school and say the school is going to do the best thing they can for my children. It is because I advocated for my child in 7th grade that she graduated from GW with Calculus 2. Therefore, she didn't even have to take math in college, which saved me money. But except she was on full scholarship. But the thing that I say is that I'm really proud of my children, and I have a child who is up there in Meta. I have a child who is working at one of the largest foundations in the country, in MacArthur Foundation, Chicago. She travels between Chicago and New York. I have children who are in banking in Wells Fargo. They are supervisors. I have a child who works from home for whatever that other thing, Snap something, chat, yeah. But, and I don't say, when I say that education makes a difference, I'm not saying just a formal education. I'm saying that I have a table over there because I work in poverty every day. And I don't wait for someone to tell me about poverty. I pick up a book and I read about poverty, because if you don't know about the systems that form the things that happen in your daily life, you can't break those systems to bring about the change that's necessary, not only in your life, in your sister's life, in your children's lives, but we have to make a difference by educating ourselves and knowing the systems that are holding us back.
Keisha got two mics.
She real proud.
That's okay. I'm proud. And I hate to say cliche-ish, but I am a proud mother. I am proud of all 4 of my children. All of them have completed high school, have gone on to attend and graduate from college, so that I am very proud of them. I'm proud of me. I'm proud of us, just for making it this far. And just like Keisha, I have a son too, and so that worry is always a different worry than it is for my girls. And so I thank God every day for them, and I am very, very proud of each one of them.
What is balance?
What is what?
Let Crystal answer, because I like Crystal's answer the best about the balance.
There is no such thing as balance. There is no balance. And I used to always try, and somebody else shared it with me, and once she shared it with me, it freed me, because I was trying to balance it. And it's give whatever you're doing at that time 100%. That's really all you can do. We can't do everything, and as women especially, we try to be super women, but I threw that hat off probably 4 years ago now. I'm nobody's superwoman. You know, I can do what I can when I can do it, but that's it. But you know, and my philosophy is there is no such thing as balance. You just, at that moment, do what you're doing at that time to the best of your ability and move on to the next thing after you finish with it.
Boom.
Agree.
Ditto. Where does the self-esteem that you have now comes from, and how do you see it getting better in the future?
Self-love.
Go ahead.
Once I learned to truly love myself properly, the self-esteem came naturally. Then you ain't got to think about it.
Boom. What you got, Shaquille? I hear you keep fussing for things.
Self-esteem, Lord, how mercy. So, do you want it? You gotta be quick. So, trial and tribulation and just life kind of beat me up for a long time, that no matter who told me I could do it or who told me I look nice, I didn't see that. So what I began to do after I got saved, I would look in the mirror and I would tell myself each and every day, I still do it, you are fearfully and you are wonderfully made. And I would look at myself and say it over and over, no matter what my hair looked like, no matter what my face looked like, whatever. No matter what my situation is, if I don't got no money in the bank, if we struggling, I still would tell myself that I was good enough, that I was fearfully and wonderfully made. And soon I began to believe it. It's a habit that you have to start a routine, especially if you're not used to hearing positive things about yourself. You have to start a routine and begin to believe it. And then beauty won't be so much on the outside. You'll begin to really see who you are on the inside, and nobody can take that away from you. Because when you know who you are, you know what I mean? You move different, you know. Yep. There you go.
I will say that, you know, my first experience with self-esteem was with Jesse Jackson shouting at my senior class, making us say, I am somebody. And that has stuck with me ever since then. But I was raised in a Christian home, and I was taught to esteem others above myself, to have the joy of the Lord, which is Jesus, others, and you. So that's really how I try to live my life, putting Jesus first, others next, then myself. And through doing that, God has allowed me many, many benefits in that, and staying focused in that realm. And so I'm thankful that I can give, having Jesus first, others next, and then myself.
When we started talking about history, we all know that a lot of Black history is just lost. It's just lost. We started off telling the stories, nobody wrote it down, a lot of them forgot them, or either they didn't want to share them and they took them to the grave. What are some of the things that we can do now to make sure that what we're creating now, and when it becomes history, it is written, we can reread it, we can read it, we can own it, and we'll know about it. The future generations can know about it. What can we do now, Reese?
Oh,
I was hoping it was some reason.
Everybody's like, Reese, give it to Reese.
Oh, this one works.
Yeah, it's
Okay. One of the things we can do is just like we did here today with the oral history sessions, because there are so many of our ancestors, because I'm going to, just think about it. 400 years of slavery, okay? Y'all can hear me though, right? No, I'm loud.
okay. There you go.
But you have 400 years of slavery, Jim Crow, on to the civil rights movement. We're still in the civil rights movement. We refer to it as the long civil rights movement. We still not free.
And so, you think about all of the trauma and everything. And so one of the things that I was fortunate enough is because when I was growing up, the civil rights movement, slavery, all of that were hotbeds of discussion around my dinner table. My grandfather, Reverend Bedford Luck, he instilled all of these things into me, told me the importance of knowing who my ancestors were. And so you think about it, I was fortunate, but a lot of us wasn't. So a lot of people in the Black community, they didn't want to sit around and talk about the ills and the trauma of slavery because it was painful. And you would ask your parents, what did this happen? This happened, and they didn't want to talk about it, But it's important because I almost feel like we're in I feel like I'm in a rush. I feel like I'm in a rush to preserve this history. Because one of the things that I learned, and I'm gonna tell you, you can never get to the point where you think you know everything. And I've always been considered a know-it-all because I'm a historian, But one of the things that I learned sitting on the Board of Historic Resources years ago, that less than 2% of spaces identify with the experiences of African Americans that sit on the National Register of Historic Places. So when you think in terms of the history being preserved, I always say that people protect what they respect. And so when it comes to our city, we have 32 markers in the city. Only 9 of them represent African American history and culture. And so, going back to the other question, the thing that inspires me to do what I do is because as a historian, and my expertise is genealogy, but you have different fields of history, like anthropology, archaeology. There's less than 1% of people that look like me. That's less than, I don't even know how you can get to less than 1%, but it's less than 1% of African Americans that do this work. So when you think of who's preserving the narratives, who's doing it? Who's preserving it? So going back to the question, you start with the oral histories. That is so important. I tell everybody, you want to know, it's not enough to just know who grandpa was, who grandma was. We do our genealogy so we can bring relevance to our lives. Okay, you don't know who my grandpa was. My grandpa may have been the first to do this, or he could have been this. You don't know how they contributed to where you live, to the city of Danville. You don't know. I might jump around a little bit, but one of the things that I learned, we're in Lucktown. We call this community Lucktown. Lucktown is named after my great-great-uncle, Oscar Luck. How do I know this? Because I've done the work and I have the documentation to prove it. These are things that we learn. So these are the things that bring about a sense of pride in our community, because it's like you have young Black boys, young Black girls growing up, and so they can look back and say, okay, I went to church with a Dr. Joyce Glaze. I can run for city council. Oh, they named a whole community after my great-great-uncle. Isn't that something to be proud of? So it's important that we preserve these narratives, because we're living in a time where all of our history is on the chopping block, and they're trying to erase it, And this is going on all over our country. And one of the things when we talk about adversity, I just got a mic that worked. But I got to go back and answer that question. But when we talk about adversity, one of the things that I can tell you that I experienced as a Black woman, as a Black historian, is just the people that are so against me telling these stories, especially when it comes to our city. Not everything has been peaches and cream. You know what I'm saying? And no, we don't focus on the past. We don't focus on that old stuff, but we use that stuff as building blocks to build a better community. And if you don't know where, and you've heard this, if you don't know where you come from, you don't know where you're going. So it's just essential that we know our history, that we know where we come from. And think about it, reparations. People are talking about reparations. Do you know what's going to happen? They're going to make it so
that you're going to have to identify at least one enslaved ancestor in terms of reparations. Now it's coming up. You can get quiet, but it's going to come up, you know? So it's just, I just feel like my ancestors, they contributed so much, not only to this country, but to this city, you know? And it's important that we share their narratives too. While we're building on this inclusive narrative in this city, we need to include the contributions made by African Americans too, you know? And so before I go on rambling, I'm gonna finish what I'm saying while I got the mic. We got 5 more minutes. And look, she was supposed to ask me something about genealogy. And look, I said, girl, I ain't got time to think of nothing, but I give talks all the time. But I thought this was so cool. I came up with this snazzy, you know, thing while I just gotta repeat it for y'all. When I was asked about, you know, why history is important. Black is beautiful. What made Black even more beautiful to me was the journey to finding my ancestors. This was a journey of self-love and discovery. Once you can follow your life story and see all of the things your ancestors went through to get you to this point, there is no way you can walk away without a sense of pride in yourself and your cultural heritage. Not only pride, but I call them the 3 Ps: pride, purpose, and peace. Pride in my history that led to my life's purpose, and a peace in my spirit from knowing who I am and whose I am. And this is from a talk that I gave at the Martinsville 7. But I just thought it was snazzy, and I thought it was, you know, fitting for today. But that's the importance of genealogy. That's why I do it. And I love what I do. And I'm going to tell you something. I don't have a degree either. Have I attended college? Yes. Am I going back? Maybe. You know, but the thing about genealogy, I had been doing genealogy so long, so I was already well connected, well known across the state for my genealogy and my work. I had always been known as the community historian. This is just something that I had been doing. And, you know, people knew me from all across the state for the genealogy work and things that I did. But it was one lady, and I have to give her props, one young lady, Ena Dixon, a young white girl, who actually, like I said, you don't know who's watching you. You think nobody's paying you any attention. No, that's just the girl that does the family history. But Ena Dixon, she left. She's back now doing a whole bunch of work in Schoolfield. But she went away to get her PhD, and she came to me and she said, Reese, I just got this big old grant from DRF, and I've only been able to do this for a couple of months. And I have to leave, but everybody's been mentioning your name. She said, I've been working with you for months. You are the only one that can do this work. And she said, you know, I want you to carry on this work. Me doing that led to me getting hired full time by the largest humanities council in the country. And I have been working there for the past 7 years. And that's what it's passion always leads to purpose. Even my job. It's hard for me, you know, with all that I'm doing. I always say I got to come off that job, but I love my job because I do the same exact thing at work that I do around here, and I'm getting paid for it. I work on Black cultural heritage sites all over the state, making sure that we're preserving the narratives. And all of that research, not degreed, but I am the only one that works at Virginia Humanities that don't have a degree. As a matter of fact, everybody works there has a master's or a PhD. I get tickled when people say Dr. Brim. I don't know if they speaking something. I don't know what they, you know, if they're speaking something. But all of that work, little old me from Danville, led to me being featured on 60 Minutes. And not just any episode. This was an Emmy-nominated episode and one of the most watched episodes of 2022. And so that's where passion meets purpose.
Boom. LaShawn.
LaShawn,
Y'all,
can you repeat that? Can you repeat that question?
I'm down my laptop.
I wanted to say-
Weird. I don't even have my
No.
tablet.
Okay.
I wanted to say something about how preserving history, right? That was the question on board. How do we
Okay, that's
preserve
good.
history? We have an advantage that none of our ancestors had. We have social media. And social media going into whatever you put on your Facebook, your Insta, your Twitter, well, all of that stuff, your TikTok, all of that stuff is staying recorded. You can even order the books. I get my social book. So every year I order the year, and every Facebook post that I do and you comment on comes to me in a beautiful book with all my beautiful pictures. And my grandchildren, like I mentioned, they are seeing the history of their grandmother like that. I don't put silly stuff on my Facebook page. I'm posting my life, your life, because I post all of y'all too, because you're a part of my life. But this is what I want to remind you, that you are recording your history in your social media. So when you die and your kids say, I want to see what mama posted, are you going to be proud of what your children are reading? You know, we need to start thinking about the things that you put on Facebook, the things that you put on Instagram, the things you showing yourself doing, saying, being. It will be seen by your next generation. So each one of us have a big opportunity to leave the best history, the truth, the things that we loved and cared about, and leave it for your children, because they will be able to look you up.
Okay, so the time is winding down. So I'm gonna ask each one of the ladies to give me one word. Oh, wait a minute, go spot. LA, go there. One word.
One word.
Joey.
Tenacity.
Hope.
Dread.
Love. Purpose. Creative. Peace.
Faith.
Peace.
I was going to say fake.
Faith 2.
Yeah, I'm going to say TT.
I was going to say faith 3. So I'm going to say stick to it.
Stick to it. And we're going to respect her and let her have her 3 words. Because we know Miss Evelina. Okay, you guys, this is the end of it. Do we have any questions? We got a question over there in the back.
Oh, hey. I'm on Oprah. That's right, Mr. Fong.
Come from. Legacy is my purpose. When I go to sleep at night, I don't want my work to be in vain. I love it. Community. I love my culture. I love my village. I love everything about me. When those days when life is hell, I go home knowing that I did all I can to bring heaven. I love it, I live it, I breathe it. You know, I think my husband got the gray hair because I come home every day and tell him what I've been through. That's that wisdom. But when I walk in the room with my husband, he changes my heartbeat. He changes it. He brings me that peace, that joy, that everlasting, you know, and I thank you for that, babe. And I thank you for that, you know. And Deshaun and Taylor and Isaac and Dee Dee and Lily, JoJo, Kai, Naomi. We got flipping farmers. It's 10 of us now. I had a son that got married on Zoom last Friday. Long story, you got to ask me afterwards. But when I think about all of them together, we talk about gun violence. We had a nephew that got killed last night. We talk about gun violence. We talk about racism. We talking about poverty. We talk about all of that. But that peace, that comes to me that knows Sean woke up that morning with an idea and she went to bed at night because she implemented. That's what I stand for. That's what I breathe. That's what I love. And at the end of the day, if you ain't living for something, you dying for everything. So I ask you to believe in not only yourself, but believe in your community and believe in those things that you see when you dream. Because guess what? Dr. King already told us it will come true.
Absolutely.
How about that, Joe Kim?
He pulled it out.
Yeah. So this is if no other questions, we're going to bring Stephanie Motley back up here to close us out. And we're going to eat. So, and network. The vendor is going to go back to vendoring. I want to give a shout out, though, to Ms. Ross for dressing me every episode. Y'all, I'm a lot. And I don't do a whole lot of colors. You know, before I met Miss Ross, it was black, white, navy, blue. Black, white, navy, blue. Tights, you give me a pair of black tights, some sneakers, and a t-shirt. I don't even care what's written up. Well, I do care, but anyway, a t-shirt, I'm set. I can sit in a boardroom because you brought me in this boardroom because of my brain, right? So what does it matter if I got on Jordans? So I'll sit, I don't care if I had on t-shirts or what. Miss Ross brought me the first time a plain pair of pants and a checkerboard shirt and wanted me to wear. I said, Miss Ross, we got to figure out how to meet halfway. So she would give me the bright color, but put a black blaze on top of it. So, but Miss Ross, I just want to say I thank you. I forever believe you are my sister. And you guys, if you want to know how to get fancy on a budget or on love, go to the Vintage Boutique. Some of the ladies are here. Some of the things you guys have been waiting for. We're going to announce season 2. So if you're here, we want you just to come up on stage. So, y'all ready?
I'm ready.
Miss Joan Tarpley Robinson. She's not here. So, Miss Joan, how old you think Miss Joan Tarpley Robinson is, Miss Evelina?
She will be 67.
67. So when I say she was president of DCC, I can go on and on about her resume. Natalie Hodge Davis. What Natalie goes?
Hey.
Corporal Sylvia Brooks. I thought I saw her. She was here one time. Lakeisha DeShazer. Wendy Everson. Tammy Warren. And Miss Tashana McLeave. I always say, am I saying her name right? McLevin. Okay, she has her own business. She's an entrepreneur, and she in a whole nother country somewhere, so we ain't even mad at her. Sharnice Harris. Tia Yancey. And last but definitely not least, Christy Harper. So these, y'all just line up, take a bow. These are our season 2 ladies. Don't ask me where their names come from. Like I said, a tribute to the Holy Spirit, but also other people in the community have been sending, you should do this person, you should do this person. And I said, y'all tell me these names one more time. Okay, I'm writing down. Me and Kirsten taking notes. Kirsten, go somewhere, somebody tell her name. I heard you guys was doing this. So ladies, I automatically from gate want to tell you thank you for the work that you do. It's not going unnoticed. Y'all are already making an impact in the community. This is just the opportunity for us to get a little light on your story and also just to say thank you. So we appreciate y'all. We can't wait. Honey, these bios, when I tell you, when they send me these bios, I did feel like Oprah for real. I did feel like Oprah. But these ladies are amazing ladies. They got stories to tell. They got communities where they came from. They got the work that they're doing. So we are grateful to Diana. She's in the building. When Diana's standing, my boss, for allowing me to do this program. Thank you to Will, Alyssa, Kirsten, all of you guys for just believing and trusting in the purpose. Like they said, the purpose, because the passion that's come along with it, the passion is there, the purpose is there. So season 2 ladies, here they are. Thank you. All right, thank y'all. And with that, this is the conclusion of the season 1 True North Speaker Series. Y'all gonna take a bow. 1, 2, 3. Hey!